Hey, everybody. It is another episode of Side Hustle Saturday Hustle Talks. And I am with my girl, Michelle Mitchell of Mitchell Consulting. Hey, Michelle.
Hey, Lisa.
Today we're going to come together and talk about turning your talents into a business. There's a lot of swirl going on right now. There's layoffs,
Mhm.
there's business scaling back, there's people just, can't take it anymore and they don't want to work for anybody because of the uncertainty of the economy. There's a lot of what ifs. A lot of people do not have a second job. Like my father always used to say, two jobs is for two people, right? Now it's kind of like you almost need another side hustle, another stream of income, let's say it like
Yeah.
that, in case your main hustle kind of goes kaput. So, but how do you do that? And I'm not talking about, all right, I'm gonna work this part-time job at the gas station or the convenience store to make ends meet. I'm talking about the people that are like, I am tired of working for someone and I'm ready to take that journey to be an entrepreneur. So we're talking about turning your talents into a business. How did you know, like, it's time for me to stop working for somebody into a business?
What made the decision for me was not really that. So I had lost my job, I guess, an economy downturn,
Hmm.
years ago.
Hmm.
And I had, my background is in finance and I worked in corporate. And for a while, I didn't know what to do with that. So I tried a bunch of things. I
Hmm.
tried some things. So one of the things I tried was I became a Mary Kay consultant.
Oh,
I did. That was my first venture into entrepreneurship. I look at my experience through Mary Kay and what it taught me, I still use to this day. It
wow.
taught me how to sell.
Mhm.
And when you're in business for yourself, you need to know how to sell. No one's selling for you, right?
Right.
So it gave me the foundational tools I need to learn how to sell. So I did that. My children were young at the time. I opened a daycare in my home, taking care of other little children, and realized I like taking care of my children, but not necessarily other people's children. So that lasted about a year or so. It's a good way to earn income. If you are a mom and you got laid off on your job, immediately I would open a daycare in my home. Immediately. Because the cash flow is amazing. The cash flow is really good and people need childcare.
Yeah.
So those experiences helped me when I decided to start Mitchell Consulting.
Yeah. I think you need to identify what you are the subject matter expert at.
Yes.
And I feel like if you can stand in front of a people and they have to tell you to shut up because you just keep talking about your business and what you do, and you can do it from day to night and you don't sleep, and it's just something that you can just keep going, that's your business model right there.
Absolutely.
Talent that you turn into a business.
Absolutely. And it doesn't have to be the thing that's your job, like that you work at every day.
Right.
It could be your hobby, and I've heard a lot of people say, well, I don't want my hobby to become my business because my hobby is my escape. And I get that too. So you have to decide for yourself which lane you want to be in. But if it's something you can talk about for 15 minutes nonstop at a moment's notice, then that's your thing,
That's
right?
the thing, right.
That's your thing. Yeah.
That's your thing. And when you identify that, like, okay, I love to bake cookies, I like to
Mhm,
on cars, I love
mhm.
to paint art. That's good. But then I think there's some key components that people need to have to be an entrepreneur because it's not cut out for everybody.
You are correct. I would agree. Everybody ain't meant to be a business owner, honey.
And it may, like you just said, it might be
Mhm,
just a hobby. And,
mhm.
I go to the barber shop and sell a couple loaves of lemon cake or whatever
Right,
have you.
right.
I just do it because like you said, that's my escape. But I feel like if you need to have an entrepreneur spirit first,
You do.
you need to have that. If you don't have that, I mean, if you don't have that drive of entrepreneur spirit,
I will ask you this question.
mhm,
Explain to the audience what the entrepreneurial spirit is, because they may not know.
the entrepreneur spirit is, I think it's a twofold thing. I think a true entrepreneur is a risk taker.
Yes.
And if you are not a risk taker, because this
Mhm,
is a risky business, I think that's one thing. You got to be able
mhm,
to be comfortable to take risk.
mhm,
The second thing is you got to be okay to fail and get back
mhm.
up again
Yeah.
because you are going to make mistakes. Trust when I tell you,
Yeah.
and you're going to bump your head, and the road's not always. Now, there's some unicorns out there that they started the entrepreneurial journey and it was a cakewalk,
Right.
right?
Mhm.
But those are people that, those are the unicorns out there. We're
They
talking about everybody else in this pot. You've got to be able to bump your head and get back up because a person that's truly successful is able to fail and get back up again.
absolutely. And you gotta learn how to pivot when the circumstances change,
I
right?
That's another one. Exactly.
Yes. You gotta learn how to pivot when the circumstances change. So
Hmm.
we are in a changing environment right now. So
Hmm.
you have to be agile and nimble. So you gotta keep your eye and your ear on what is happening in the marketplace that you serve. And if things begin to shift, you shift right along with it. Like you try to get ahead of it instead of like waiting to see what happens. And that's the entrepreneurial spirit. Like you begin to focus in on those little intricacies
Yeah.
and you're able to pivot when you need to. I'm not saying change your whole business model, but if you see that market is shrinking, what would you do first?
Or the opportunity. That's why it's
Yeah.
so key to keep your ear to the ground, like you
Mhm.
said, and always research, always educate and learn. You just can't be stagnant. Always, for me, I always watch the news. That's my
Mhm.
thing. My son is like, you always watching CNN. You know why? Because I can keep my ear to the ground, or I'm watching Shark Tank,
Mhm.
I'm reading a magazine,
Mhm.
or I'm listening to the radio because that's where I pick up the opportunities.
Mhm.
And for my business, I do a lot of marketing strategy with other entrepreneurs and I consult. And so the things that I learn around me, I help them because they're not looking at the news,
Exactly.
reading magazines.
Exactly.
They're not doing all the things that would help them either pivot or grow and scale their business.
I would agree with that. And from the financial space, like I do watch the news. I try not to watch it a lot, but I also watch CSNBC, which is the financial channel. Like, what are the big companies doing?
Mhm.
Like, what are they doing? Because what they do, we can mimic in small business too. So, for instance, I was just talking to a client just before this, and we were talking about the potential of a recession. And he was asking me, so what should I be doing? I'm like, well, one, reserving cash, period. Don't be spending if you don't need to, right? Number two, you should be looking at the market and your services to see maybe I like my larger service, I can pare it down because in a recession, it's not that people don't buy, they don't buy as quickly and they don't buy as much. So, how can I deliver my services and continue to get new clients with the same thing I always deliver? But now instead of it being in one bucket, it's in three,
Yeah.
right? So, I just took that same service and I chopped it up. Like you can buy this one little thing right here, and this will get you part of the way to where you need to be. If that doesn't solve your problem, then come to bucket number two. Then I'll give you a little bit more.
Yeah.
But that gives your client the opportunity to spread their finances out, because they may not have that large amount that they can put down anymore. You may have to put it in small buckets. It's the same thing, but it's in smaller buckets,
Yeah.
you know?
We need to look at the recession as an opportunity.
It is an opportunity.
I was listening to Myron Golden the other day. I follow him on YouTube. And he was saying, when he was like, y'all remember when COVID happened?
Mhm.
He said there were so many millionaires that came about or made their millions during COVID
Yes.
because they saw the opportunity.
Yes.
And so, same thing here. We
Mhm.
got to be able to see beyond all the things that are happening around us
Yeah.
and look at the opportunity and the things that we just mentioned earlier, being able to pivot, being able to have that spirit and being able to fail and pick back up again,
Yeah.
because this is a golden opportunity for small business owners. Now, granted, with the tariffs and everything that are going on, again, how can I pivot my business so that I can still keep the lights on and keep the business going? The one thing I have a little story. The one thing that I had a problem with, I have two businesses right now. I have my Studio 951, which is my digital marketing agency. But then I started a podcast. And I had started this my podcast back in 2020 during COVID because I was
Mhm.
right. One thing I did not know how to do was monetize my talent.
Right.
And so, how do you think somebody, they got this talent, they got all the things that we mentioned. How does one monetize their talents?
To monetize your talent, you need to sell something. You gotta sell it. So what is it? Like, for instance, your background is in marketing. You've been in marketing in large corporations, right? So what's the one piece of your talent that you used in your day-to-day job that another market could use? So like small businesses, or if you're selling B2B or B2C, which is business to customer or business to business, like identify what their need is and then fulfill their need with your service and
Mhm.
charge an amount for it.
Yeah.
That's monetizing your talent.
And there's ways to monetize
And
it.
there's mhm,
And that's where my education was very limited.
mhm,
It's more than just like I got to pop up at the farmer's market.
right.
And I don't think people think about, okay, so I sell this product. Okay, if you're a baker, maybe you start working on a cookbook. Maybe
Exactly.
you have an Amazon shop, and you're on social media, and so as you're cooking, you have certain utensils that you
Mhm,
use. You do an Amazon shop, you have a link in the bio. They
mhm,
click on the link, they buy that whisk or apron or what have you that you're using
right.
to cook the bowl.
Mhm.
That's monetization.
That's monetization. Absolutely. Yeah.
There's different ways that you can sell your product. It's not the door to door like,
Mm-mm.
hey, I'm selling this candy bar here. There's different ways you can monetize. You can teach. You can do classes. I'm on this teaching bracket right now, which I that got dropped in my lap, and I'm monetizing my talent. So
Yes.
there are different ways that you can take your skill set or your talent and monetize that.
Because maybe you were like in your job, you use a particular software in your job. Other people need to know how to use that software too. You can monetize creating training classes. You could create a workbook. You could package the two together. You could do some YouTube videos. And now you got a package of services that you can offer someone. And it didn't take much of your time. You just had to create it. And now you put an amount on that. That's monetization, and you sell it to your customer. Maybe you just put your link in bio.
Mhm.
Maybe you post on Instagram. Maybe you show people how to use it, and that draws them in, and then you make them an offer. Like there's a lot of different ways you can monetize what you do and that you learned from your employer.
Absolutely. And I've said this before. If whoever's watching this and you just happen to be working in your 9 to 5, but you're thinking about, I'm thinking about leaving this joint. I want to start my own business. The one piece of advice I would give to you is if your employer has classes,
Mhm.
if your employer has free training, if your employer has anything to better yourself from an education standpoint, take all the classes.
Mhm.
Yeah, because what that is going to do is help you when you do leave. You apply those
Exactly.
learnings, we call those transferable skills.
Transferable
And you
skills, yeah.
take those learnings and you apply those to your business.
Mhm.
Can guarantee you when you look back, you'll be like, dang, that really helped me. And you
Mhm.
will see the difference and you'll have a leg up when it comes to starting and maintaining your business. It'll help
Yeah.
you across customer service.
Mhm.
It'll help you across marketing. It'll
Mhm.
help you across when you try to sell and monetize all the things that you learn from your employer.
Yeah. I know someone who when she was working, she got her Six Sigma black belt. She's certified in Six Sigma, right? From her employer. And she started a side hustle that makes millions of dollars now. But she got her certification through her employer. People, if you are out there and you know how to do something that's very specific and unique, like you can monetize it. Like
There,
you have an expertise
and there's a community for it.
and there's a community for it. Yes.
Oh, nobody wants to do this, but that's not true. There is
Have
a
you asked? That's
right.
my yeah. My question always, have you asked?
Hmm.
Put a poll up.
Yeah.
Like, to your social followers, like, ask people in your real life. Ask people in your real life, "What am I good at? What do you see that I'm good at?" If
Mhm.
you don't know, because a lot of times we don't know our own genius because we're geniuses at it. We don't know it.
Right.
So start asking your people. I remember the first time that I was really like, yes, my background is in accounting. I had already started Mitchell Consulting and I was doing that work for small business, but I wanted to go deeper. So I asked my circle of influence, what do they think that I do best? And I got all kinds of answers, and a lot of the answers were the same. So if you don't know where to start, start there, your circle of influence, and just ask them, what do you think I do really well?
Yeah, I think that's key. And I think also to understand what platforms will you shine on.
Hmm.
I think I've run into a lot of entrepreneurs that are just starting out that don't have a website. That's key. You need a website. It could be a one pager, however, but you need somewhere that's your house that
Hmm.
you can come and visit and see what you're all about. You don't have to be on all the social media platforms. You don't have to be on, TikTok, X, Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. You want to be on the platforms where it makes sense. If you
Hmm.
sell a product or a service, you want to be on Instagram or on Facebook or even on TikTok. I would say Instagram and TikTok. If you are more of a business to business service, you want to be on LinkedIn because that's
Yeah.
where all the decision makers are. I feel like everybody should be on YouTube because they're taking smaller channels on YouTube. That's your TV station. That's your play.
It is.
That is where this is your world.
Hmm.
And that is where people can get to know you and your brand, and you can deliver and tell that story on YouTube. And monetization starts right there in the description. You can put all your links to buy your ebook, to buy your products, to have affiliate links there. All that is there. So that's your world right there.
Yeah.
For me, some of the tools that I use as I'm in my world of social media, I love ChatGPT. What about you?
My team and I just had a discussion about how we are going to implement AI in our business and how we deliver stuff to clients.
Yeah.
So I use ChatGPT every day, but my team doesn't.
Uh-huh.
So we just started talking about how we can incorporate it into what we already do. Like things are going that way. We may as well be part of it, right? And if we are ahead of the curve, we have more learning than people who are just starting. I was telling my team that Chat GPT came online February of 23, I believe. I had an account in March of 23. I've been using it that long.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we see it more and more in the applications that we use. Now, Google, you can get it for Gemini for free with your account. Like, that's amazing.
Mhm.
So lean into it because it's not going away.
Yeah. And I'm gonna tell y'all, a lot of people are going to be like, well, how can I utilize Chat GPT in my business? How can I fold it into my business? I'm going to tell you, it can help you write a business plan.
Mhm,
It can help you with, if you're cooking, write recipes.
mhm.
It can help you with content creation, a content calendar. It can help you with research when you're looking for what your competitors are doing. If you give it the right prompt, it could also do images for you. It's just that intuitive. So
Mhm.
I use it. It's almost my administrative assistant. It can help
Oh,
me
absolutely.
emails, craft letters, all it does everything. And I found that what would take me hours or a week or a day takes me 5 minutes with ChatGPT.
Exactly. I was using Chat GPT earlier today to redefine what our service packages are. And like I took what we already had, I fed it into chat. I told chat, these are the things I'm looking for. And it spit out a beautiful table for me, like comparing all of our services together.
Right.
So, yeah.
I've done it
And
for
I didn't have to do it said, would you like for me to create a Google Doc or a Canva document for you? Absolutely. Let's do.
yeah, I've done proposals, I've done invoices, everything. So we're saying that to say one of the tools that you and buy the don't be cheap. Just buy the paid version.
Yes.
Don't get the free version because you'll get more out of it
You
because you'll use it a lot.
mhm.
The other thing I use a lot is Canva. I use Canva quite a
A
bit.
lot.
It
Me
has
too.
templates, PowerPoint presentations. You can do everything in Canva. And then I have my website.
Mhm.
That's where I schedule all of that's where I showcase what I do as a business, number one. But I use it to schedule my consultations. I
Mhm.
use it as my portfolio of work. You
Mhm.
know, for me, those are my tools to kind of help me to help me out when I am running my business and being an entrepreneur. So
All the tools. So,
yeah, all the things.
yes. One day I should go through my tech stack and tell people like all the tech that we actually like running an accounting firm, we use a lot of tech.
Yeah.
A lot.
It's surprising because you wouldn't think, because I even ask it questions when I'm doing my books. Like, okay, I'm trying to categorize X. How would I categorize? And it spits out the answer.
Right, it
So
will.
it's amazing. I don't know if I would struggle with it, but as an entrepreneur, you want to try to get in where you can fit in. I don't know what other way about positioning yourself in the market.
Mhm.
And I think it takes some ways to navigate, like how would I position myself as an entrepreneur in the market?
Yeah. That's a really good question.
Hmm.
And I think you need to sell some things first so you can figure out what you like to do and what you don't like to do.
Okay.
Because why position yourself in the market with something you don't like to do? So I think you need to start there. Like take your talents because some of my talents that I have, I like to do them, but I don't love them. You know what I mean? So why spend my day doing the things that I don't love? So first I would figure that out. And then as you have been working your side hustle and you have customers, What type of customers do you like to work with best? And then figure out, where do those type of people hang out?
Mm.
And if you find where they hang out, now I can position the thing that I love to do with the people I love to do it with. That is a ground for creating profit.
Yeah,
Because if you're doing the thing you love to do and you're doing it with the people you love to do it with, they are going to pay for the result that you're offering them. Therefore, you can charge enough so that you make profit.
that's so true. And they won't be scared to
No,
the dollar amount.
they won't blink an eye.
It's like the heavens will open up
Hmm.
because you can't be. I struggled with this at the beginning of my entrepreneurial journey. I was trying to be all things to all people,
You cannot.
and I can't. I
Hmm.
can't. Starting out, you're just super hungry. You're just trying to get to work.
Hmm.
You're trying to do everything for everybody. And I was starting to regret the decisions I made. And I
Hmm.
had to be able to tell people, listen, my price is my price.
Hmm.
This is what I do. And if you don't want to pay that, I can try to refer you to someone else. But,
Exactly.
it is what it is. You can't be all things to all people. But I will tell you, if you come and you show up authentic and people buy into what you're selling and you position it well, you will have no problems
No problems.
selling your product.
That's correct. Yeah.
No problems. The other thing I think to become an entrepreneur and turning your profit into a business, turning your business, your talent, I can't talk today, turning your talent into a business is branding.
Hmm.
I think branding is very important. Um, how do you feel about that?
Okay, this is what I've learned about branding. Branding is not your logo. Branding is how you speak and what you believe in as a business. That's branding. Now, we marry colors and imagery to express that, but your logo ain't no brand.
It's part of the package.
It's part of the package. You need to understand the underlining. So, I've gone through branding strategy sessions before, and this is what I have learned. And when you learn how to speak your brand, then people magnetically are drawn to you. And that's how you're positioned in the marketplace with the people who want to buy your thing.
Yeah,
It's the branding. You have to speak the language of who you are and identify what that is.
yeah,
Add some color that supports it, add some imagery that supports it, and that's your brand. But you have to speak to that brand, because that brand is what goes out before you. It's
yeah.
not just your logo, man.
And you're right, because I've run into people I do consultations with as
Mhm.
entrepreneurs, and they'll have a logo or have a font, but I was like, okay, so what does that mean? They'll say something. I'm like, if I don't even know what that means.
Mhm.
They'll say, well, what's your tagline? Well, what's that? Well, your
Mhm.
tagline is going to help support your logo, your font. It brings it all together. And you might have some supporting subcopy to bring it all together, to lock
Yeah.
it together. And that's key. Gotta be able, you only got a few seconds to catch somebody's attention when
Mhm.
they come to your social media, to your website. So it has to you got to make it make sense. If somebody knows nothing about you and they see that logo, the name, and the tagline, oh, they do this. Let me learn more.
Exactly. And your branding, once you have solidified what that branding means for you, y- be consistent in using it,
Yeah.
because your potential customers are drawn to, oh yeah, I've seen that before. Oh yeah, she came up in my news feed. I recognize that. And then they might click on your link in bio. And where should that link in bio take you? To your website
Right.
or your landing page, right? It should take you somewhere so that they can learn more,
Yeah.
right? And that it all works together. And it does take time. Like when I first started my business, I just created my own logo. Like, you know,
Yeah.
I didn't know. I needed something to go on my contracts. This represents Mitchell Consulting and this go on my contracts, but all the rest of it I learned over time. So if we can shorten your learning curve, it's that.
Yeah.
Like, spend some time in that and figuring out, like, if you're really serious about taking the side hustle into your main thing, you really need to understand who you are, what you want,
Yeah.
who you serve, and why you serve them.
Yeah.
And when you figure those things out, it will all come together and you will be more consistent in the marketplace. Like people will begin to recognize you because you operate as that brand.
Right. I
That's
agree.
what I have learned.
Yeah, same here. I agree. But I will tell you, to be in all transparency, I struggled with imposter syndrome.
Mm, I
I
think we all do. At,
yeah,
at points in time, we struggle with the imposter because who am I, right?
yeah,
You know who you are. You are his. So I'm sorry. You are his. So you are special. And God has given you talents for you to use. So you should use those talents and be confident in where you are. So imposter syndrome is looking at somebody else's right now when you didn't see them before.
yeah. And that's
That's what imposter syndrome is.
I did that a lot. And
Hmm.
I was like, oh, I shouldn't be telling people how to do their marketing. I shouldn't be talking to anybody about doing a website, because I was looking at everybody else and they did it so well.
Hmm.
But we got to start somewhere.
You have to start somewhere, and you had corporate experience.
Yeah,
So, yes, you do deserve to be talking about marketing. That was your job. They
right,
paid you well to do it, right?
right. They did. Right.
They wouldn't have kept you as an employee if you weren't delivering. So, forget about the imposter syndrome and just do the thing you know how to do. It doesn't matter what the other people say. It really doesn't.
Yeah, yeah. And sometimes I still struggle about that today. And we talked about that
Mhm,
briefly on I have my podcast
mhm.
and love it. I mean, I didn't know I really liked it as much as I do, but I'm struggling with the fact like I'm not 100% all in. And I'm trying to figure out what is the deal. I do the interviews. I love the interviews, but I need to show up more. So I was
Yeah.
kind of like, what is the wall that I need to tear down? And it's
Mhm.
the whole imposter syndrome. Like, do I really need to be out there talking to everybody like that? It's sometimes I struggle with that.
Yeah. I mean, I get that. I
Mhm.
get that because you're comparing yourself to people who've been doing it for a while. Of course, they're going to be more polished. Of
Yeah.
course.
Yeah.
They've been doing it for a while.
Mhm.
And when you're doing it for a while, you're going to look polished to the new person coming in
Yeah.
and they'll be looking to you. So step into where you are and just keep putting one foot in front of the other. You will get there. Like, the imposter syndrome is really self-talk about your worthiness, and I'm telling you, you are worthy. Like, no one can take that away from you. You are worthy to take up the space that you are in. You are worthy, and you just have to start believing that. And if you don't really believe that, start journaling about it, start saying it over and over to yourself, creating in your subconscious mind, I am worthy
Mm.
because you are. The fact is, you are. And you deserve to take up the space that you are in.
That's good. That's
There
good.
is no exception.
Yeah. And that's good because I'm not the only person that
Mhm.
feels the same way. I was talking to someone and they said that they were scared of success.
Mm.
Oh, well, you should, you're so talented. You need to be doing this or all the things. And, you know, we sat down and had this conversation and they said, I'm scared of success. What if am really good at this? How am I going to handle that? Because I'm cool in my little square or bubble. I know I
Mhm.
do that well. But if I step out of that square or bubble and it's really successful and people like, yeah, you know what you're doing. Sign me up. How do I handle that? And
Yeah.
that kind of blew me away. Like, are there people that are really scared to be successful?
There are people who are afraid to be successful. There are, and they will sabotage their own success.
Mm,
So they will get to a certain level and they'll sabotage it and it'll bring them back down to where they are comfortable. That's keeping you in your comfort zone.
right.
And nothing exciting really happens in your comfort zone. So I can tell a story about myself. Like my background is in accounting. That is what my degrees are in. That is what I've been doing for years, right? I'm very confident in that space. Who am I to become a speaker?
Oh,
But
wow.
I am speaking. I have 5 speaking engagements in the next 5 weeks.
Wow.
Who am I? I am this little girl from Benton Harbor, Michigan, who in speech class in the 10th grade almost cried at the podium because I had to deliver a speech.
Mm,
Who am I to be on somebody else's stage?
yeah.
But I am me. I am worthy to be there. I have done the work to be there. I have the experiences to be there. So I'm taking up space. But in my subconscious mind, if I'm telling myself, who are you to be a speaker? Because you remember that little girl in the 10th grade that cried at the podium? That's you. No, that's not me. That's who I was. And she helped me to get to where I am. And I am not afraid of her, but I am here to protect her and to tell her, I got this.
Right. Go sit down. Go have a seat.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate that. But
Mhm.
I'm standing on the stage because what drives me are the people in the seats. What do they need to know? And even the audience here, what do you need to know from what I have to say? Because my experience is worth something, because it will change lives. And I know that for sure.
Oh, say that. All right.
I know that for sure
Yeah.
because I was a little shy girl
Mhm.
and I am not that little shy girl anymore. And it is because of the experiences I have had in my life and through running this business for 15 years.
That's good. Now, see, now I feel a little bit better. I mean, I was getting there, but it's like, and that makes sense. And I hope that whoever's listening to this will, be able to overcome imposter syndrome
Mhm.
and do what they need to do to turn their talent into a business. And wrapping up, what would you tell somebody where they should start? They're ready.
Start with what you know and start asking. So people, okay, my experience with Mary Kay, they always say, ask the people in your closest circle of influence, right?
Mhm.
Because you start there. Ask them, who do they know who might need XYZ? Because those are the people who know you best and they can refer you out to someone else that they know. So I would say start with who you know and then expand your circle from there. It was so funny. When I was in Mary Kay, I would always play this game with myself to see how many Mary Kay parties I can book from the source, like the source person that I booked from. I always wanted to book more. And that increases your circle of influence because you didn't know those people. You the third and fourth and fifth and sixth generation out from the person you knew.
Yeah.
Like you didn't know them people. And they have a circle of influence that you haven't even tapped into yet.
Right.
So I always wanted to meet someone who would have a party for me that will introduce me to other people that will have a party for me. I kept that going for so long. But it's the same in business.
Yeah.
It's exactly the same in business. So
Yes.
start with your circle of influence and
Mhm.
start branching out from there. And
Yeah.
that's how you do it.
I would say I'm gonna just take it up a notch and just start. You're gonna make mistakes.
Mhm.
You're gonna learn a lot about yourself. Trust what I tell you.
Yes.
But if you just start and not be afraid to make the mistakes, do the work,
Mhm.
and when you fail, get back up again,
Yep.
you're going to be okay.
Mm.
This month is my 3rd year anniversary from not working for anybody.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought about that earlier. I was like, this has gone 3 years and I haven't worked for anybody now. Do I have PTSD? I do. I say that all the time,
Right.
because I'm like, should I? Should I not? Should I? But now it's like every time I try to jump back in, another project pops in my
Mhm.
lap. But I'm saying that to say, if you're, take the risk,
Mhm.
bet on you. I had to do that. I bet on me. Did I make some mistakes along the way? I sure did. I mean, some big ones. But I learned from those mistakes, and I'm still sitting here today with my freedom in tow,
Right.
with my business growing. I mean, my year over year, my business has grown, and I'm still here to tell the story. And like Michelle just said, now I'm speaking. I'm like, who am I out here talking to?
Right.
I've got 8 speaking engagements this year. It's like, what?
Wow.
How did that happen? I don't even
How
think
do
about that. I'm just like, I'm trying to build a website. And
right.
next thing I know, it's like, nope, can you teach this class?
Right.
You never know where the opportunity is. But
Mhm.
if you just start and align yourself, I'm going to close with this, align yourself with like minded people.
Mhm.
That's key
Mhm.
because I had to whittle my circle down because I had people in my circle that weren't very supportive. And you've got to be able to have the courage to kick those people out of your circle, build your network that that are people that are like-minded like you, that have that drive, that gumption, that entrepreneur spirit, that can not only help you out, but you can learn from them as well. So, but Michelle, thank you so much. It's always a pleasure
You're
to
welcome.
talk to you and tap into your knowledge. And I hope that whoever's listening to this get something from, if we could just touch one person, they get something
Yeah,
from it, I'm okay with that. But
exactly.
y'all know what y'all need to do though. Y'all need to subscribe to Side Hustle Saturday. So hit that red button right there. You also need to follow me on my social media platforms at Side Hustle underscore Saturday on Instagram, Side Hustle underscore Saturday on TikTok, and Side Hustle Main Hustle on Facebook. Michelle, where can the people follow you at?
The people can follow me on LinkedIn. I'm Michelle Mitchell. On Instagram at Mitchell underscore consulting and on YouTube at Mitchell Consulting.
Yes, she's on YouTube. Follow her.
I am, and it's growing. My little channel growing.
Well, and Michelle, thank you for joining me. And we both hope that, you take this knowledge and information and you start to turn your talent into a business. And guess what? We're going to see you on the other side. Talk to you soon. Bye bye.